Jeff Myers, and welcome to Elgin Today. On this edition, we talk with one of the best Larkin football players of all time, class of 2000 quarterback Matt Shabert, who was inducted into the Elgin Sports Hall of Fame in November. The Mayor David Captain segment will feature a conversation with Corporate Counsel and Chief Development Officer William Cogley, who is retiring in January after 34 years in Elgin. And Janice Hare has all the information about the January 13th Dr. Martin Luther King Day celebration. We'll have these stories and more on this edition of Elgin Today. Hello, for this segment that we have coming your way in the December edition of Elgin Today. We're looking ahead to January with Janice Hare and the Martin Luther King Special Day.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
You've got some big things planned. Now, this year, we're going to call the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. That sounds like Martin Luther King.
Absolutely, and that's our theme for 2024. We're looking forward to an awesome prayer breakfast here at Elgin Community College on January the 13th. The program will start at 8:30, but the doors will open at 7 o'clock. The program will go till 11 o'clock or so. We will also have vendors in the hallway, small business owners in the hallway for you to purchase items if you like. Our guest speaker will be none other than Dr. Susan Johnson, our new superintendent for School District U46.
Good work on that.
We are so excited to have her.
Wonderful. She just took over, of course, on U46 with that job back on May 23rd. Now, we're excited. You're going to be at City Hall selling tickets. That's exciting.
Yes, we will. We will be opening our selling booth of the tickets to the Martin Luther King prayer breakfast on December the 12th. Mm-hmm. December the 12th, you guys, from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., we will be in the lobby of City Hall selling tickets. The cost of the tickets are $25 each. We would like to sell them in a pack of 8. There will be 8 individuals at each table. So if you would like to reserve a table, purchase single tickets, please come out on Tuesday, December the 12th, between the hours of 5 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. We will be there to sell you tickets.
Wow, you're there all day?
No, not all day, because I got to work.
So that time frame is really 5 to 7 at night?
Yes, it's at night, it's at p.m. Our hopes is that we sell out quickly and that we don't have to sell them during the program on January the 13th. Once we take care of selling the tickets, we know we are so good to go. So we are excited about that. So please, y'all, come on by the City Hall on that day, December the 12th, and purchase your tickets for your family, friends, co-workers, for anyone that wants to be a part of this. We only had 200 tickets, and they are going fast because the committee had to divide them and sell them themselves. So, therefore, we are going to depend on the public to sell the rest.
Also, a part of the day always is the food collecting.
Absolutely. We are looking this year for our goal to exceed 5 tons of food so that we can be a helping hand and a distributor to the pantries here in Elgin, the churches here in Elgin, that is able to feed others that are hungry or that need food for their families. We will be able to help make a contribution in a great way. And the monetary donations are welcome as well.
I thought you'd throw that in. I like that very much. So it's exciting times for the city of Elgin, a great way to open up a new year. So we're looking forward to the event, January 13th. We're ready for the always great event.
Absolutely. And another thing, please look at our website at thecityofelgin.org.
Matt Shabert, class of 2000, Larkin High School. What a football career you had.
It was quite a ride, and we had a lot of fun along the way, and won a lot of big games, lost a couple big games, but in the end of it, it was a lot of great stories, a lot of great memories. So.
That 1999 season when you went 3 rounds deep, even though you lost to Naperville Central, that was sheer glory, wasn't it?
It was, and I mean, that team was, I think, ranked number 2 in the country at the time, and they were full of studs. So we gave him a run for a while, and I think just at the end of the year we just ran out of gas at the wrong time. And but we had a wonderful year, and a lot of, like I said, a lot of great athletes on that team that are already inducted here in the Hall of Fame, and we're trying to get a couple more in too. So we're going to do a little politicking tonight.
Well, it's a great squad, no question about that. And you, young man, you hold a lot of records. You have 30 touchdowns in that senior year throwing, do you not?
I do. Yep. I think 69 total.
Yeah, it was like
almost
30 in the
7,000 yards.
state.
Yeah. At the time, it was third in the state, and the game has changed a lot since 1999. So a lot of throwing the ball. I'm not on the first page of the record book anymore, but at the time, it was something.
Oh, those are great numbers for that time.
It was, yeah. And we had a lot of games where we had a lot of good leads at the end, and so we let a lot of the other guys play too. So we could have run them up, but we're not like that.
You played 3/4 every game.
We did a lot. We've had a lot of 3/4 games.
You also had a string, I think, 32 games in a row, at least 100 yards passing in high school. That's great numbers.
Correct. Yeah, every game was at least 100. The last game against Elgin to make it into the playoffs, and obviously Town Jug, it was real close there, but we had a couple big throws at the end and pushed it over the 100 mark.
You told us when you were golfing earlier this year, you told us a great story. You late in the game, it's a fourth down situation.
Yep.
You're going to go for a field goal. Tell us what happened after that.
We couldn't find the kicking tee, so we had to call a timeout.
Yeah.
We went to the side, and Tom Sarasani, who was my quarterback coach all through high school, he looked at my dad, and the two of them agreed almost at the same time. They said, we're going for it. So we took a play that we've been running all year. We were very confident on. Stan Yarborough runs great routes. Had the wind at our back, threw it as hard as I could, and he caught it, took a little hit, but got the first down and ended up scoring and winning that game.
That's great. The game of the missing tee. I like that.
Game of the missing tee. It would go down in lore.
That's an incredible story. I just recently, in November, I saw one of your teammates. If I would describe him, 6'3", over 300 pounds. Who am I talking about?
Jason Larson.
He was back in
the greatest co-host in Jeff's Place history.
That's right. He talked about you, and how I said, come on down today.
Yep.
He lives in Chicago now, as you know.
You were the only person that can get him so embarrassed and flustered that he stops talking. Everyone else, he just keeps going, but you had him that day, and I don't think he expected to be on camera as much as he was, so he kind of clammed up, but he did a wonderful job.
He was the official guest narrator, if you will, almost for the show on that night. Now, he of course, you had some beefy linemen, didn't you?
We did. We had a lot of strong guys. They weren't the tallest in the world, but man, were they ornery. We've got countless videos of them, after plays, Trevan would get tackled, Stan would get tackled. All of a sudden, you'd see a body come flying through the screen. It'd be Jarvis throwing somebody, or Danny throwing somebody. So we had a lot of really tough guys. Unfortunately, a bunch of them, like I said, went both ways. So it played offense and defense. And when you go 3 rounds deep in the playoffs, every game is tough. So we did our best, and we gave it quite a run. And it's a wonderful year and a lot of fun.
Oh, those years you were there, they were tremendous fun for us as broadcasters. We would do a lot of the games on cable, and that was a great joy for us, no question.
Yeah, being little, having my dad coaching for so long, I remember watching games on TV and just couldn't wait till I could go to them. And then once I started going to them, I said I want to be on the field. And it was a big motivating factor for me to keep working hard and trying to get better and make that squad and get on varsity. And, it's getting rewarded tonight, and I appreciate being here and getting this honor. It's a huge night for me and my family.
Richly deserved for you. And the last 10 years you have been what?
Working as a firefighter paramedic up in the city of Madison. So
you love Wisconsin now.
I love Wisconsin now. People give me a lot of flack because I still wear all my Cub stuff, all my Bear stuff, but I remind them I'm a Badger, so I think I get a little leeway for that.
But you get a touch of emotion when you come back to Elgin, don't you?
I do, yep. Parents are still here. Sister lives in LaGrange with her husband and little ones. So every time I come here, there's always something to remember or always something to see. It's always evolving, always changing. It's a really great city, and it's always nice to be back.
Wonderful. Class of 2000, Larkin High School. That's Mr. Shabert, you are. And again, thanks for all the joy you gave us for the many years as well.
I return the favor because I love watching you on TV and love hearing the voice.
All right. Thank you, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you much.
This is our December edition with Mayor David Campton. Mayor, we're going to have some fun this month, aren't we?
We are, yeah. And it's, it's kind of one of those sweet, sour kind of things for us. And with us today as our guest is Bill Cogley. Bill's been the attorney for the city since 1985, and he's planning to retire right after the first of the year. And, time comes for everybody, and Bill realized it was time that he wanted to go out, and I think I was part of the problem because I get a golf magazine and I give it to Bill.
Oh, no.
And it had, the last edition said 100 golf courses around the world to play in, and the next thing he says, well, I'm going to go.
He's going to go on tour now, isn't he?
Yeah.
You put him on tour.
So he's decided, he decided that that's what it's time for him to retire. And we want to talk a little bit about his history here and about the history of, I think, the legal profession and how it's changed for municipalities and for our local government for sure. And Bill, tell us how you got here, and then we'll go in, and I want you to tell us about what was the first real. I know that the first real case that you got, and I remember him telling me about that. He was assigned to do some undercover work, and it's kind of a fascinating story.
Wow, incognito. Before you do that, though, do you have a good golf game?
Not as good as I'd like, but
Okay.
hopefully
He's
it's
not
going to
going on
get better. Hopefully it'll get better.
So
no tour.
All right, you were working undercover. Tell us about that.
Well, actually, that was a story when I first started. We had a restaurant that had a license that appeared to be some violations, so they weren't serving in accordance with their license. So the staff sent me, and I was brand new to the city, so they wouldn't recognize me, and so I sat down in the late afternoon and ordered a couple of beers and see if they followed the license regulations. They didn't, and so we made a case out of that. Yeah, so that was tough duty.
So you weren't in a Howard Hughes costume. You were just yourself.
No, just
you were
myself.
brand new.
I was brand new, so they wanted to send me in because they wouldn't recognize me.
What was your choice of drink that day?
It was a beer, but I can't. It's 35 years ago almost, so it's hard to remember. But yeah, that was kind of an amusing story that I told the mayor back a number of years ago.
That's great. Any other good stories you have behind the scenes?
Well, and part of that story was that Bill, he's a diligent guy, and it kind of reflects on him. He sat there and took notes. And he was reading a newspaper and wrote on the inside of the newspaper about people that came in and what they were looking for underage and things like that. And when the time came, they went to court. Bill had his records, and
the newspaper came out.
Out came the newspaper.
Do you still have that newspaper?
I don't.
Oh, darn.
Well, it may be in an old file. Who knows? But I don't know where it is. Yeah, but that's a true story. That was in a newspaper like that. Yeah,
That's great. What other stories do you have for us?
And I think that, I think Bill, now this is hard to do, but, looking back over 35 years and you've been involved, again, you started out, maybe the pinnacle of your career was the first couple of days when you were undercover. But I think as time went on, what are the two or three biggest things that you worked on for the city of Elgin? Maybe the ones that were most impactful for our city. It's really a tough question.
It is. Your whole career is that we look at now.
Well, I would say that overall, the largest impact in the city is starting right after the 2000. We just had some explosive growth in the city out west of Randall Road, and so I was intimately involved in all of those annexations and the developments, and so we added an unbelievable amount of acreage and houses, and it was quite a bit of work. But that's probably the most impactful thing. But I've had the benefit, based on my longevity, been involved in the riverboat, the center, the tower. Mostly, I've had the privilege of working with my colleagues on all of those projects, and so it's really the accumulation. But I said if I had to focus on one thing, I would say it's that we went through a really explosive growth period from early 2000s through 2007 or so, and they're still building that out, but that's probably the most impactful thing I've worked on.
The zip code 60124 years.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's incredible how much acreage we added in just a few years.
What were some of the ideas for the riverboat that you were involved with?
Well, I mean, it was really the whole negotiation. Folks remember that was an old TIF district in which the city acquired a whole number of properties. My colleagues, senior colleagues in the legal department were working on that when I came here. And it was that old kind of used car auto dealers row down there, and quite a bit of environmental.
Things were buried there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so staff worked on that for years. And then we got what was then the 10th and last license. Mayor Vandervoort was here at that time. And then it was an extensive negotiation with the Riverboat Group. And obviously that's been a very successful development. But that was many, many years in the making, as the city prior to me had the foresight to prepare that area for development. And so, and it's obviously turned out quite well.
Were you there when it went into the water in July of '94? I remember that moment.
I remember the video of it. I wasn't standing on site, but I was with the city when that happened, yes.
It was quite a day, wasn't it, Mayor?
It was, and it a very important part to the city, and these Bill's been involved. I was on planning with back in the time we was talking about when that expansion was going on, and as planning commission, we were having meetings every 2 weeks, just about for quite some time, to get through the number of petitions that came in, and some of them were very, very contentious, and we had a lot of the NIMBY type of things that were going on, which is still pretty prevalent when you have a new development. Nobody wants to see the change. but very controversial. One other thing is the day-to-day things that we do, and I shouldn't say day-to-day, month, let's go month to month. Bill also sat in on all the liquor commission meetings and all the liquor complaints. Some of those are pretty, it's impactful on people's lives.
Sure.
And business owner, and we have to be careful. The water we tread can sometimes be a very impact. I guess impactful is the best word to say that for everybody involved. And some of the things, Bill, over the course of time, in a legal profession, from a municipal standpoint, what do you think are the changes, and how have we, from the time you started in the 1980s until today, how do you see this as a change in a legal profession, and how the kind of cases that you deal with and the complaints that we get?
Well, as with most aspects of life now, municipal government is very highly regulated, and not just by the municipality, but both by the state and federal government. So we're constantly dealing with regulations for employment and labor unions and environmental regulations, and so when you're in the area of municipal law, you become almost a jack of all trades. You have to move from an employment situation to an environmental situation to multiple contracts, and so it's just really the regulations we face now, and employment in particular is such a highly regulated area. And but as far as the day-to-day things, most of those statutory regulations for the city have remained somewhat static. There are developments. We have a new employment statute we're looking at right now that the state has done. So you really have to stay focused on changing regulations and events, and there's been quite a few over those years.
You're flexible. We're down to about 60 seconds. Mayor.
Well, one last thing, as a mayor, I was never sued in my life. Now it's a kind of ho-hum. And, the council might get sued once in a while, but my name is, and the mayor's name is on a lot of the lawsuits that happen. And we just, as part of dealing with being part of government. And Bill Cogley, over the course of his career, has probably saved this city tens of millions of dollars. And I think that kind of goes through it. People work here, and as city employees, I think I see it here every day that they work, and they work hard to make sure that they are stewards of the taxpayers' money. And Bill's done a great job in doing that. And I talk about. We look at succession, and there's no replacement for Bill. There's not going to be a replacement. There'll be a new person to come in to take that position, and I want to be fair to them. And it's not going to be. You can't fill Bill Cogley's shoes here. It's Bill is one of the best municipal lawyers in the entire state, and deserves a lot of credit from this community.
Well, you're so popular, we picked up an extra 30 seconds. Now, you went away for a while, didn't you? And you loved Elgin so much you came back. Tell me how that came about.
Well, I was here for several years, and I wasn't looking, but a law firm approached me and offered me a position, and it turned out quite well because I got a tremendous amount of experience in those almost 5 years in litigation. It made me a better lawyer, but then the senior assistant had left, and my predecessor, Irv Jentz, who was really my mentor, who was the corporation counsel before me, contacted me and asked me to come back, and we were able to work it out, and I've never looked back. It was the best decision as far as my career goes that I could have made.
Delighted to have him back, weren't we?
It's been great for the city, and we're sorry to see him go, but I'm also happy to see him.
Yeah. So you're going
to see him go and enjoy your retirement.
Well said, Mayor. You'll be golfing a lot, is that right?
Quite a bit, yes.
Right. Enjoying Chicago Cub baseball?
Absolutely. Cubs fan all the way.
Maybe his next career, in a couple of years, maybe he'll want to run for mayor.
Oh my! Announce it right now.
I'm not announcing that. That's for
all
sure.
right. Well, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff, and we'll look forward to seeing you next month.
That's our segment with Mayor David Campton.
Mi linda comunidad de Elgin, tengo varios anuncios para ustedes. Primeramente, tengo unas buenas noticias. En sí van a tener abierto el parque, más bien la alberca de Lord's Park. ¿Qué creen? Y eso es gracias al aporte que tuvieron la comunidad, que sí, nuestra voz se escuchó. Muchas personas ayudaron a abogar para que pudieran abrir en sí la alberca para 2024. Es que esas son buenas noticias. Van a estar buscando personas para que ayuden para tener las salvavidas. Es que va a haber mucha oportunidad oportunidad, habrá mucha oportunidad para que las personas que quisieran trabajar ahí, en sí, nadar y ayudar a las personas, vamos a tener esa oportunidad que realmente, de veras, estamos muy agradecidos porque en sí la comunidad se unió y ayudó para que tuviéramos eso. También los concejales, muchísimas gracias porque ellos también están abogando por nosotros. Más que nada, eso es algo que es muy importante, que vengan en sí a las juntas de la ciudad, de los concejales que vienen y hablan, porque son cosas que nos afectan aquí en la comunidad. Ahí estamos viendo eso, ahora sí, los afectos, es que realmente nuestra voz se escucha cada vez que nosotros vengamos y tratemos de dar unas ideas y digamos qué quisiéramos ver, qué cambios, nos escuchan y nos están viendo. Es que hemos visto muchos cambios, cosas que estamos dando interés, que queremos que hagan en la comunidad, lo están haciendo, como hemos visto las festividades que han hecho para nosotros los latinos, en sí se está viendo. Es que muchísimas gracias, no dejen de participar, les pedimos el apoyo para que continúen con nosotros participando y podamos hacer cambios que nos va a beneficiar a toda la comunidad. También hablando de buenas noticias, en sí ahorita el presupuesto financiero que tienen de la ciudad de Elgin está ahorita disponible para que lo puedan ver, está para que todo el mundo lo vean, pueden ir en el enlace de cityofelgin.org que pueden ver la información ahí, por si al caso tienen dudas. Es que es bien importante, continuemos participando, si tienen alguna pregunta, déjenos saber, nos encanta ayudar para ver que hagamos cambios y en sí podamos disfrutar de lo que es nuestra comunidad de Elgin, porque siempre estamos ayudando a hacer una diferencia para que estemos todos más a gusto y podamos unirnos bien. Es que muchísimas gracias porque siempre andan aportando y ayudando para que haga mucha diferencia. Los esperamos pronto, si alguna pregunta la tengan, me dejan saber. Hasta luego, adiós. Se nos acerca un gran tiempo, la celebración de los 3 Reyes Magos, y para eso tengo un gran rey mago aquí a mi lado. En sí, nuestro gran rey, dinos un poquito qué vamos a estar haciendo.
Sí, claro, gracias Elisa por la oportunidad. No se olviden, el 6 de enero vamos a tener a los Reyes Magos, vamos a estar aquí para que toda la familia venga a tomarse la foto. Vamos a tener también un cuento, vamos a tener una manualidad y muchas cosas más.
Más que nada, es un tiempo que nos vamos juntando y los niños pueden escribir su cartita. Es algo que no se puede perder, una gran tradición que tenemos en México, ¿no?
Claro, pueden traer su cartita o escribirla aquí y dárnoslos. Acuérdense, enero 6 de 2 a 4 de la tarde aquí en la Biblioteca Pública Gail Borden. Y te quiero comentar que llevamos 10 años haciendo... Mínimo,
sí,
10 años haciendo la celebración del Día de Reyes con un éxito tremendo. Los papás lo adoran, los niños están felices. Es un tiempo muy emotivo y muy bonito para toda la comunidad.
Cada año va creciendo más y más. Creo que es un tiempo que realmente debemos de compartir nuestra cultura y más que nada nuestros niños todavía continuar con esa tradición que se me hace bien bonito porque se emocionan a ver los 3 reyes que siempre están emocionadísimos, ¿no?
Claro, y es hermoso, nada más el simple hecho de ver las caras de los niños,
sí.
El recuerdo de los papás, de los abuelitos, es un evento hermosísimo. No falten, esperamos que vengan todos, se van a tomar la fotografía con nosotros y de nuevo también va a haber churros y champurrado. Así es que no se les olvide, apúntenlo, enero 6 de 2 a 4 de la tarde en la Biblioteca Pública aquí en Elgin.
Es un gran tiempo para que vengamos a celebrar con nuestra familia y seres queridos. Los esperamos, no se lo pierdan porque es una gran oportunidad para disfrutar y celebrar a los 3 Reyes Magos con nuestros seres queridos. Hasta pronto, adiós.
Adiós, aquí los esperamos.
Amiguitos, felices fiestas. Ahora sí empezamos la celebración de Navidad y para eso tenemos que empezar muy bien con nuestras decoraciones aquí en el centro de Elgin. ¿Qué creen? Tenemos unas decoraciones súper lindísimas. Vengan al centro, aquí al lado donde está el Festival Park, que justo está al lado del casino, por si acaso no han llegado. Tenemos el arbolito que en sí alumbraron este fin de semana que pasó y junto con unos decoraciones bien bonitas. Este año hay que hacer algo diferente, hay que tratar de donar quizás nuestro tiempo, nuestro cariño. Vamos a hacer un cambio aquí en Elgin. Me encantaría que nosotros pudiéramos participar en diferentes eventos. Es tiempo de que encuentren su don y den de lo que ustedes pueden dar a la comunidad. Los esperamos pronto. Felices Navidad, felices fiestas. Hasta pronto. Adiós. For more information, please visit cityofelgin.org. Para más información, por favor visite nuestra página cityofelgin.org. Don't forget, for city services, call 311. Call, click, connect. Para servicios de la ciudad, no olvide llamar 311, llamar, conectar y textear.